Oh my gosh.
I can't even. That's what you said. All right, guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Appeal. It is Sia Yasotorat, and I am Chris Maliszewski. I don't even want to tell those watching or listening what we were laughing about. It was a little too rude and crude. But with that being said, let's get to our intro so we can start the show.
Yeah. Let's just fast forward. Whatever the heck we had to say, forget about it.
I feel like you and I need to choreograph some sort of intro dance like Wayne's World, because I just love that intro so much. Every week we do this show, it's just like, yes, all right, we're doing The Appeal. So thank you once again for creating that amazing introduction. Sia, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing great. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired. I think I texted you earlier. We had an intruder in our neighborhood apparently, and we're in suburbia, like Texas, but we also don't mess around. So we had helicopters, drones, cops in our neighborhood looking for an individual. So an alleged someone did something. So let's just say I had a little bit of a slightly restless night when you hear the cops say something to the effect of like, lock your door, stay inside.
Yeah, I'm sorry you went through that. I know all too well what that feels like. And
I'm sorry, honey.
just as,
Yeah.
no, that's okay. As long as you're okay and everybody's safe, and it turned out to be a false alarm, like you said. That's all we can ask for given today's day and age. But I'm really excited for today's conversation. Our guest is somebody along the lines of you, right? A marketer, a storyteller, an expert in branding, all of the things that I am not. That's the reason why I've partnered with you, Sia, and Brilliant Bean Media. But I am just so excited for our guest and for listeners to meet Mr. Pon Angara. He is the principal and CEO of Barkada Circle. If you don't know what Barkada Circle is, specializes as an expert in storytelling for foundations, associations, and nonprofits, doing so in their own expertise. So, Sia, I'm going to bring you back a little bit at the end of the show because I would love for those watching and listening to to hear from you and Pon together. But please, why don't you go take a break and bring Pon on, please?
Awesome. See you guys. We'll see you soon.
See ya. All right, there he is, Mr. Pon Angara. How are you, sir, today? Thank you so much for joining us on The Appeal. I'm well, thank you. I briefly introduced who you are. I just have really enjoyed getting to know you and the passion and expertise you provide to those we both serve in the nonprofit world. So please introduce yourself and who you are and what you do at Barkada.
Yeah, well, thank you, Chris, for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be a part of this this morning. I am the principal of Barkada Circle, as Chris had mentioned. Our mission is to work with mission-driven organizations, nonprofits, and also associations. So these are all people-centered organizations who have a purpose, who are trying their best to do whatever they can in their world to make their part of the world a little better. And that happens one step at a time, one day at a time. They're passionate, they're resilient, they are dedicated, and that is what draws me to their work. So it's all about them. It's how I can support them because their energy is what feeds me and what sustains me, and it's what gives me meaning in the work that I do every day. So I would hope that at some point, we can all make this a movement so everybody in their way, in their own little or big way, can help all these causes to make the world a better place. So I can go on forever and forever, but we have very little time, but I'm going to get down from my soapbox. Again, thank you, Chris, for having me today.
No, believe me, that's why I love you. And I was so passionate about having you on the show as quickly as I could because you and I share that same passion, right? We want to uplift great organizations doing good in the world as best as we can, utilizing our talents to the best of our ability. And so you're an expert in your field. Storytelling is who you are and what Barkada does best. So if you don't mind, please, now's the time. Like, hype Barkada. What is it that you do? How do you do it? Who are you partnering with? Like, if somebody's needing resources, how can they reach out to you? Like sell yourself, man. Like, I love what you do because we do it the same but different, right? We believe in the same type of storytelling and raising money and such, but you do it in such a unique fashion. So please let listeners know how they can be helped by you.
Yeah, sure. So I think what sets Barkada Circle apart is that we are an arts-based organization. And because my background in of itself is in the art. So I'm a visual artist. I, in a previous life, I did so much in terms of painting and drawing and all that. So that's my home. That's where I feel I'm in my element. Is when when I'm painting, when I'm drawing. I also have a big community of artists, friends, and professionals. I'm based in Chicago. So we have people in theater. We have folks that are, that do art with different materials. We have musicians. We have people who do sculpture. So you name it. We have singers. So it's really about tapping into the humanity inside ourselves, and art does that the best. So it's how do we get the story out of each one of ourselves, and that's through art. Art tells stories like no other medium can. Talk about the movies that you see, the music, the visuals, the storytelling there. It's all arts based. So it's very appropriate for us to also leverage that energy, that talent, and also that method in telling the story of our causes, of our mission, of our nonprofits. So we partner with artists, and that is so important in the type of work that we do.
Gosh, it just speaks so deeply to what it is I'm trying to accomplish with Hail Hail Auctions in just a more narrow form. I don't have the painting talent, the artistic talent, if you will, as you do, and some of those that you work with. But as we talked, I have this huge affection for music. I absolutely love music. I wish I was a musician. But I'm using all of those skills that I see, and I'm inspired by the artists that I adore, if you will, and bringing that to raising money, right? I'm looking at it as if I'm on stage, I'm almost performing a concert as if Eddie Vedder was coming out of me, right?
Yep.
And so you think about that, and then you talk about, well, okay, I've been told many times I'm a good speaker. Well, how can I use my speaking skills to benefit organizations I believe in? Well, let me start a podcast. That's another form of art. That's a medium. And so as long as we're finding ways to use our passions and our talents, as you are with Barkada, to uplift great organizations, like, it's a win-win, and everybody is fulfilled. The charity's making money. They're creating new types of marketing avenues in a form that's authentic to them. You're fulfilling your passions and uplifting others, but also creatively. Like, oh my gosh, kudos to you for figuring that out, man. Like, that's just so inspiring, and it wants to keep me going with Hail Hail.
Well, I have to give credit. Thank you, Chris. I'm so thankful that you and I think are kindred spirits, and we met just recently. And I think there's so much more that you and I can probably collaborate on. I also have to give credit to the people that have inspired me on this journey, my mentors who are immersed. Some of them have retired. Some of them are still immersed in the nonprofit arena. But, they have given me so much food for thought and so much wisdom about the stories that we tell about our causes, about the different, about the different issues that us as human beings encounter every day. Whether it's poverty, whether it's injustice, whether it's just other whether it's disparities or inequities, and the beauty in using the arts in telling your story is that it's something that people who are themselves the ones that we are helping. It also gives voice to the people that we're helping. So whether it's kids who need the guidance and the connection that they haven't had, because maybe they were torn from their families, or maybe it's women who haven't had the resource to seek out health information, because they don't have access to readily available health information. It doesn't matter where they're coming from and who we're helping. The arts gives them a way to to voice their own, basically it gives voice to themselves. They'll so at some point they can also tell their own stories. So it's really something that people can collaborate on, whether it's the people that we help, the donors, the people who work at nonprofits. It becomes this collaborative medium that people can connect on a more human, more personal basis, and it resonates with other human beings. So, again, before I get up on a soapbox, I really think that we have not tapped into the power of the arts as much as we could, and there's so much more to that we could even talk for hours and weeks, and still just cover the surface. Just touch the surface.
1,000%. And you're exactly right. And you said the word resonates, right? The storytelling does resonate. And from where I sit and in my mission to help raise money for organizations, right? That's my action, right? And it's exactly right. You and I have a great opportunity to collaborate, because if you could tell the story and I could grasp that story and then make the money through that story, that charity is going to win 10 times over. And when I work galas and I work fundraising functions, it's not a secret. The ones that tell the best story that evening or throughout that event raise the most money. So the higher produced events, the higher the production cost, those types of things, the interviews, the speakers that come up, the story that's built, it really resonates, as you said, with people, causing them to do what? To donate money, to carry that mission forward. And so what we're doing together now is a form of art. And I just can't thank you enough, for what you're doing and how creative you've been through Barkada, in using the arts to uplift great organizations. But, just give us a quick example, Pon, if you don't mind, how have you served a client, right? Like, give an example of how you utilize the arts to benefit somebody. And if you want to give a shout out to that client, by all means, they're doing great in the world. If you partner with them, I believe in them too. So by all means, please, give an example of how you and Barkada work with organizations.
Yeah. So, for example, I've worked with an organization. I will mention their name because they are one of the. I would say that they're one of the nonprofits in the city of Chicago who have created so much impact in the work that they do. The organization is called the North Lawndale Employment Network, NLEN, and they work with formerly incarcerated people to bring them back to society in terms of get them to be job ready, to be able to get not just to be job ready, but even to be entrepreneurs, even to start their own businesses, and then to be the inspiration for the youth, for the next generation of entrepreneurs and of change makers from their community. So inspiring. So I've worked with them. What I've done is I've helped them to put together I would say like a brand package for this event that they did when they celebrated their 25th anniversary, and it was a big milestone. So we had to brand that event, and that became the kickoff for an entire year of storytelling. And what I created for them was a storytelling kit that they themselves could use and take to different areas of their community and gather stories themselves, and to talk to the people that they know have either have done a lot of work but have been the the silent partners. These are the unsung heroes, but they want to highlight them. So they took the storytelling kit that Barkada Circle provided, and and this is what they told me, that it felt very empowering for them to use the toolkits themselves and to gather the stories so they can tell the story themselves in their own voice. It also was a way for them to prepare for the big event, and that was to tell at the gala, because there was a gala at that event. So it was not even a video; it was them speaking live and in person and talking about how their lives had changed because of NLEN. So in a way, it was Barkada Circle sort of how do they say it? Coaching them and how to tell a better story. For some of them, because they were natural storytellers themselves, I didn't have to coach them. But for other people, I was. They asked me if I could coach them. But these storytelling kits were so were so important in just getting them on a good path, so they feel empowered to tell their own story for that year-long event of telling their impact story. So that was a very good experience for us.
I love it, and it's a great example of us, and you particularly as a consultant, as a partner, et cetera, finding ways to not only raise money in the immediate for great partners and great organizations, but to save them money long term, right? As what you do as a consultant, and I know as an auctioneer, at times it's very easy to inflate prices significantly or have partners year in and year out and just do the same thing over and over for them and not be creative and not be forward thinking like you are. But here you are bringing a kit to this great organization and saying, here's how I would do it if I were you, and coaching them to do it themselves. That's so empowering. And I got to commend you on that forward thinking. And, that organization, I would love to get to know more about them as well, because it sounds like they're doing great work for people who really need some help and are trying to turn their lives around. So, kudos to them. But, this is a great transition. I think, with what we're doing in Hail Hail Auctions and the medium we're using, podcasting, content creation, different types of awareness through our skill sets, and I partnering with Sia and Brilliant Bee Media. I would like to bring her back to the stage and in the room, because I think it would be an awesome conversation just for the three of us, and particularly the two of you, to just talk about your expertise, how fulfilling you're finding it to work with nonprofits. I mean, the list can go on and on. But Sia, if you don't mind, if you're done coughing back there, would you get up here and listen? Sia, that was Sia's hint to be like, "I'm ready. Can I come up now? I'm back here."
I am so. You guys,
yeah,
I don't understand how. I don't understand how you heard me. I muted on my soundboard, and the sound is supposed to go. The soundboard goes through to do the audio for here. So I don't know how the heck you guys heard it. Like, I'm freaking out right now. So my apologies. I went loud with my coughing too. So sorry.
That was funny. That was from your belly. That was a belly cough.
It was like I want to get that whatever hacking away out of me. Oh my God, I am so sorry about that, you guys.
All right, no, but Sia,
you're good.
Yeah, but listen, if you didn't hear, if you were hacking up along as I was bringing you back up, listen, you're newer, I would say, to this nonprofit space, right? And I've kind of roped you into it and said, hey, you can use your talents for helping others. And you're like, oh yeah, maybe I can. And I don't say that. You've always been generous and philanthropic. I know that. But what I'm saying is you've been in the for-profit space, you've been selling, you've been working with for-profit clients, and now you're working with some of the partners that I have generated through Hail Hail and doing nonprofit work. So what has inspired you now, taking this transition, if you will? I think that's a good kickoff to this conversation.
So the biggest thing that I've learned, and my background's in tech sales, okay, so I tend to lean towards the technology world, which is a very different beast. But the idea coming from corporate to nonprofit, there's a very big culture difference and language difference and total different mentality, right? Because when you're giving to yourself consciously, right, with a nonprofit, let's be brutally honest, unless you're one of those top 1%, organizations, the odds are high. Budgets are probably in that negative, barely cutting, by the skin of your teeth type of thing. And so you have to learn that you can't treat these types of engagements like a corporation would, right? But you still have to answer the same challenges, right? How do you grow your brand visibility, credibility, community? And that's where I think I'm having a lot of fun, because where your heart is, I think a lot of success will always follow. It might be a little bit tougher and more challenging in different ways, but I love learning from our nonprofit partners because there's so much creativity that you can do. And you kind of got to make do with less sometimes, but at the same time, that doesn't diminish what the opportunity is for everybody. So yeah, that's my big takeaway, man, is like, you cannot treat these types of engagements as like, oh, well, here's our email campaign that we're going to push out here, blah, blah, blah. And that's great, but there's going to be a lot more focus on resources, right? And that's human resources as well as technical resources available to execute. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
that was my
totally
big
very
lesson.
insightful. Yeah, very insightful. And listen,
Hey.
Pon and Barkada is proof that folks like us can sustain partnerships with great organizations and do it in a different manner. And so, Pon, hearing what Sia had to say, you've been so creative, and now we're doing something differently than even you, right? In terms of how we provide services and how we partner with great organizations. So when you hear Sia say what she did, what is your takeaway?
Sia, you're on the money. You
Oh, now our head's gonna get bigger. That's a louder cough.
literally and figuratively. No, really.
I can't believe you guys didn't say anything about my cough. I'm so sorry, because I let it loose. I'm so sorry.
Trying to get because we're pros. That's because we're pros. We just kept going through. We're like, if we didn't hear it, they didn't hear it.
Yeah. No, I think, Sia, what you said is so true, because and I have to say that what needs to happen right now between nonprofits and for-profits is partnership.
Yes.
Because that's the only way that we can all make an impact, and the greatest impact is through partnership. Because corporations can learn so much from nonprofits in terms of how do we do this creatively, so we don't have to spend $10 million and instead partner with some people and then we only spend a fraction of that. And then nonprofits, of course, can learn so much from for-profits, because at the end of the day, they still have to be sustainable. They still have to make the money so that there's enough to actually go to the work and to make that impact and to pay great living wages and even more than that for people who do this kind of work. So again, there's that win-win situation there, that once profits and once for-profit and nonprofits partner, it's a win-win situation for everybody.
You're spot on. Like this is why I'm so happy to be the dumbest guy in this room, because the two of you hit it on the head, right? The partnerships, the engagement that needs to happen, not only with corporations and nonprofits, but think from an entrepreneurial perspective. We have so many amazing, great people in the comments, and I want to speak to, what Jody's doing at Structure Your Settlement, and Janice with Tausi and the support she's giving Hail, right? Like, this is a great way for entrepreneurs to get themselves out there and align themselves with a charity and a mission that they believe in, to create awareness in another market, in another arena that they would have never otherwise tapped, right? And they could do so by donations, therefore limiting some of their cost and some of their overhead for their business. It's a win-win-win-win-win. And so that's what I'm also trying to do, Pon, in many ways with Hail, is broker some of these relationships to say, hey, here's a corporation or a sponsor along with an event, and it's time to get up with the times, if you will, from a nonprofit perspective. And that's why I think the three of us are providing great services and opportunities to be partners with organizations who can't otherwise afford another full-time employee, in the health insurance and the retirement and all that stuff that comes with it. So for a fraction of the cost, we can all collaborate and everybody wins.
Yeah.
So if I may jump in, because I know Janice is going to correct me in the chats here, but I believe it might be a term, but she said it to me first. So I'm just give Janice the credit. And she's the founder of Tausi, who sponsors this show, by the way. Thanks, guys. Which is conscious capitalism, where you have a collaboration between, for-profit businesses that are aligning for a cause, purpose, mission. And so this is where, like, I know my business doesn't do everything. I have purposely niched my business in a certain way so I can allow the opportunity to collaborate. So I don't do necessarily all the traditional marketing stuff. I don't do email campaigns and I don't do SEO for website and all that stuff. I collaborate with others because, quite frankly, if you can get a team of people that are masters together to help nonprofits who may not have access to these resources, what a fun opportunity for us to really, Care Bear power share. And Pon, you don't know me, but the reason why I named my company Brilliant Beam Media is because of the Care Bears. We all have our inner lights, and if we all shine our lights together, it's a brighter, brilliant beam. And I think that's at the root of what we're talking about, Chris, and why I just love working with you at Hail Hail. Like, you mean it. You're throwing down what you're saying, and that's appreciated. And I think people need to understand that how much this power that we're talking about has a appeal for the masses.
Yeah, no, and all right. So now we learned why. Yeah, we did. Now we learned why Brilliant Beam is called Brilliant Beam, and Hail Hail Auctions Pond, if you didn't know, is named after my favorite Pearl Jam song. So tell me, how did Barkada Circle come to be Barkada Circle?
So Barkada. So the word Barkada is a Filipino word. It's actually a coined word. It's not part of the formal Filipino language. It was coined, I don't know, in the streets. Who knows when it was coined, where it was coined.
It's slang, Filipino slang.
Yeah, it's slang. So it means my best friends, or, I guess you could say my homies, my best friends, my gang, whatever.
Love it.
These are people who they have my back and I have theirs, So that's what Barkada is. And I chose that word because it reflects my heritage, and it also reflects the spirit that I would like for my work to promote and to further, in the words, in the beam of light, spirit there. We all need to shine our light in one way or another, and that's how we do. We each have a way of doing it. So, and yeah, so I'm just so thankful that you guys have crossed paths with me, and can't wait to do more stuff with you guys.
Yeah, listen, holy cow. Well, I want to let you know, first off, I want to thank everybody that's been in the comments today for this show. I consider each and every one of you a part of my Barkada. And now, Pon, it's an honor to have you in mine as well. And so, like you said, I can't wait to more work together, to learn more about who you are as a person as we get to know each other down the road. But speaking of our Barkada, and Sia earlier mentioned, we have a great sponsor in Tausi brand. So we have a quick commercial that we wanted to run to thank Tausi for their sponsorship. So, Pon, hang out for one more second before we sign off for today's show.
All right.
Falling asleep with your head in the wrong position is a pain in the neck. You deserve Tausi Comfort for head, neck, and back support. Go to tausibrands.com and get your comfort on.
I would have my comfort on with my Tausi, but my stepmom stole it from me because she loves it so much. So Janice, I got to get you to send me another one. But we do have one, and I did just receive mine for this next coming week's golf outing in support of Reclaim 13, where I'm helping raise money alongside the Strategic Introduction League at the Grove Golf Club Monday, July 22nd for Reclaim. So I got my Tausi there. We're going to be giving one away. So thanks again to Janice for donating that. But before we sign off, Pon, I wanted just to give you one more opportunity. Let folks know how they could connect with you, how they could find out your work, how they could work with you. Now's your chance to get on that podium and sell who you are and all you do.
Yeah, thanks again, Chris. So yeah, people can reach me on LinkedIn. That's Pon Angara, Pon, first name, last name is Angara, Angara. They can also check out the website, barkadacircle.com, as you see there, barkadacircle.com. And, just email me, or I've got my social media handles too. So I am on Instagram, which is Pon Angara is the handle, and also on Facebook, Barkada Circle on Facebook as well. So, and I'm also on Twitter, which is Barkada Circle. So we are everywhere. So please feel free to contact me in the best way that that you could.
I love it. And Sia's laughing because she's got your QR code over my ugly
Oh,
mug.
look at that.
And
I know,
so,
I'm trying to move
yeah,
it. I'm sure it's a new setup, you guys. My apologies, but I'm like, why isn't it not moving? Sorry.
I love it. No, listen, that's more. Please scan the QR code. Pon is much more handsome than I am anyway, so you can hide my face as much as you'd like, Sia. But you will connect with Pon. You won't regret it. I'm telling you, he has inspired me, and he's already causing me to think things differently about how we're proceeding with Hail Hail. So, Pon, thank you for joining us today. Thanks to everybody in the comments. Thank you for spending time with us. Sia, as always, thank you and Brilliant Beam Media for producing this awesome show. And it's about time we get on about our day because I am going to see Def Leppard tonight. And I got to go to Wrigley. So, Sia, let's get to that outro and we'll get about our day. Thanks, everybody. Hail, hail. Love you all.